Hey everyone, my name is Brittany and welcome to another episode of the Supernatural World. Since summer is starting this month, I thought I would talk about a supernatural creature that I think about a lot this time of year, and that would be a mermaid. Mermaids have been talked about for centuries, from the different gods of mythology to the well-known mermaids of today. Mermaids have fascinated people and still do. The mockumentary Mermaids the Body Found had people truly believing they found evidence to prove that mermaids existed. And even though Animal Planet admitted that it was fake, people still believed that it was a real documentary, but that the government is trying to cover it up because for some reason they don't want us to know about mermaids, but that's a whole other video. But when you think about it, it's not crazy to believe that mermaids exist. I mean, really, we have explored more of outer space than our own ocean. So there are probably lots of different species living in the ocean that we just don't know about. And it wouldn't be hard to assume that a mermaid is one of the creatures that we just haven't found yet. After doing the research, hypothetically, if mermaids were to exist, then they would live in very deep water, and that is why it would be so hard for us to find them. And for the people who are going to say that it's not possible because the pressure of the water would crush their lungs, you have to remember that mermaids are magical creatures, and hypothetically, if they did exist, according to folklore, then it wouldn't really matter what science says, because one of the rules of magic is that the impossible is possible. Plus, if mermaids existed, I doubt that their body, like skin, muscle, and bone, would be as weak as our own. And let's remember that mermaids are not as sweet and loving as the wonderful Ariel. A lot of the time, mermaids were said to have caused events such as floods, storms, shipwrecks, and drownings. Although in other folk stories, mermaids, like in The Little Mermaid, fall in love with a human. So basically, every mermaid has their own personality. And just like humans, some are good, some are bad, and some are fine as long as you don't piss them off. In mythology, mermaids are thought to be very intelligent. So intelligent, in fact, that they are thought to have created underwater kingdoms that function like our own society. There is a male equivalent to a mermaid called a merman. Mermen are also a familiar figure in folklore, although stories about and sightings of mermen are not as common as mermaids, but they are generally assumed to exist alongside each other. And if mermaids do exist, I think that the reason you would see mermaids more than mermen is because I would guess that mermen's role in a society would be the hunter and getting the food, so they most likely would stay in the lower quarters of the ocean just hunting and stuff, whereas the mermaids could adventure. At least, that's my guess. The very first story told about a mermaid was in ancient Assyria, in which the goddess, who I cannot pronounce her name, so I'm not even going to bother trying, so here it is, transformed herself into a mermaid out of shame for accidentally killing her lover. But in other versions that I've found, she was human and then she accidentally killed her lover and tried to drown herself, but because of her beauty, the goddess took pity on her and turned her into a mermaid. But, I don't know. It's a sad story either way. And to be honest, a lot of these stories that I found were pretty damn sad. But, of course, the most famous story is from Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale, The Little Mermaid, published in 1836. The book has since been adapted into operas, paintings, book films, and comics. The most popular adaptation being, of course, the Disney version. Although the original version is not the same as the Little Mermaid that we know and love today. In the original story, Ariel doesn't end up with Eric. He falls in love with someone else, and in the end, Ariel actually dies, which is really, really morbid for a kid's book. A lot of the stories about mermaids were inspired by the sirens of Greek mythology, who are said to be extremely beautiful, but also extremely deadly. And I actually found a really good YouTube video that explains about sirens and a few stories from Greek mythology. So if you guys want to check that out, I put a link in the description below. There have been sightings of mermaids throughout history, such as those reported by Christopher Columbus during his time in the Caribbean. There have also been reports by Vikings and other sailors and explorers from all over. And while there is no evidence to prove that mermaids exist outside of folklore, reports of people seeing mermaids still continue to this day. In the 21st century, people are still seeing mermaids, with a lot of sightings coming from around Israel and Zimbabwe. For me, I personally do believe that there is a possibility that mermaids could exist. But like I said, they would most likely live deep underwater, because if mermaids do exist, they would be just as, if not smarter than humans, and over the years would have learned how to avoid us. But to be honest, we will really never know if mermaids exist until we start exploring our ocean. And it does seem a little weird that we have technology to go to outer space, but we apparently don't have enough technology to explore our own ocean. Really? I mean, it's something to think about. Well, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I really enjoy making them. And if you have a topic you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more videos from me. So, until next time guys, bye-bye!